very carefully look at John chapter 17 and look at verse 2. You know, Jesus lifted up his hands and he prayed to the Father and he said, even like glorify thy Son, so that thy Son may glorify thee, even as thou gavest him authority over all flesh, over all mankind. Notice this word all. See, all in context here means he gave him authority over all mankind, but all that to all whom thou hast given me. You see how all is not every single person here? See how it says authority over all mankind, that to all whom thou hast given him. Doesn't say everybody in the world in John chapter 17. So that he may give them eternal life to those who were given to him. So he has authority over all men, but not all men were given. Even as thou hast given him authority over all mankind. This is not talking about just the apostles. This is where the Arminians try to wiggle out of this one, and it's impossible. And, well, they'll just put their fingers in their ears. And this is eternal life, that they may know thee, the only true God, and Jesus whom thou hast sent. I manifested my name to the men whom thou gavest me out of the world. Now you could say, oh, that was the apostles. Well, it could have been all the disciples at the time. But he says, I pray for those, later on, he says, I pray that all will believe through that testimony. So he's not just praying for the apostles. And if you look at verse 9, I ask on their behalf, right? But I do not ask on behalf of the world. He's not praying for the world, but of those whom thou hast given me, for they are thine. See, and all things that are mine are thine, and thine are mine. This is talking about his children. And he's not praying for the world, he's praying for his own. And he doesn't pray for them only, he prays for the people who will come to have faith later on. But now I come to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they may have my joy made full in themselves. It's not, I've given them thy word, and the world has hated them, because they are not of this world, even as I am not of this world. So I do not ask thee to take them out of the world, but to keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them in the truth. Thy word is truth. As thou didst send me into the world, I also have sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they themselves also may be sanctified in truth. Verse 20, I do not ask in behalf of these alone. See it? I do not ask on behalf of these alone, but of those also who believe in me through their word. The gospel goes out. But notice when it spoke here in verse 1 or verse 2, it clarifies this very clearly. In verse 2, even as thou gavest him authority over all mankind, that to all whom thou hast given him, he may give eternal life. This is not talking about just the apostles. So when you flip over to verse 20, it connects. See, I do not ask in behalf of these alone, but for those also who believe in me through their word. But he still has authority over all flesh, that they may all be one, even as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee, that they also may be in us, that the world, and now we're not talking about the world, may believe that thou hast sent me. Thou didst send me. Now see, not all the world is going to come to Christ. But he gave us, right, even as thou, Father, hast gavest him authority over all mankind, that to all whom thou hast given him, not every single person, but to all whom thou hast given him, he may give eternal life. Thank you.